if you're anything like me, you've been doing your research trying to figure out which camera you're going to use for that far-reaching shot, over the shoulder in baseball, from the back of the church in your worship service instead of being posted up at the front. And today we're going to compare the Mevo Core with NearStream's VM46. I'm Jason Hoffman. My goal is to help you have the confidence to just press go live. When we consider these two cameras, both of them boast a 4K sensor. Both of them boast optical zoom. We depart pretty quickly from the similarities after those two things. There is one more feature where the two of these are the same. They each offer HDMI out from these devices. So we can plug them into our hardware switcher. We can plug them into our Mailbox if we want to, and have the highest possible quality image coming straight through via HDMI. These two cameras are going to let us reach a little bit farther than many of the other cameras on the market for mobile live streaming. Now, they each come with a price tag as well. The Mevo Core starts at $999 before you buy a lens. The NearStream VM46 is a $699, $700 starting point, but there's no other lens to buy. Whether you feel that's freedom to purchase whatever lens you want to and set it up the way you want to, or whether you prefer the idea that the lens they've built into the VM46 means I don't have to worry about any other lenses, or even knowing anything about lenses may help determine which one of these fits for you in your mobile live stream. The way they're set up for this part of today's video includes a 1442 Panasonic lens on the Mevo Core. It includes, of course, the built-in lens for the VM46. Now, this 1442 is going to give us a starting place that is really close to what the VM46 is starting place. Now, the VM46 publishes an 80-degree field of view, and the way I have them lined up right now, this is the Mevo Core that we're looking at, and when I switch over to the VM46, you can see that with this 1442 lens here on the Mevo Core, it's just a little bit wider than the 80-degree. Notice how the lamp stand stays, the lamp stays in the same place, but I get the little bit of the chair over here coming in and out of the picture. You see me scooch over just a little bit, and so we can tell that the starting point for this 1442 lens on the Mevo Core is just a little bit wider than an 80-degree field of view. When we begin to zoom in on the same shot with these two cameras pointed in the same direction, we're going to see that the 1442 on the Mevo Core is going to give us somewhere between 3.5 and 4 times zoom, as best I can tell. If the clicks on the VM46 are each equivalent to times zoom, then we're somewhere between 3 and 4 clicks on the VM46. Of course, we have 10 of those that are our digital zoom promised to us on the VM46. So I can zoom in to about 4 on the VM46 and have pretty much the same shot that I have on this 1442 zoomed all the way in. Of course, if we want to switch that out, as we'll do when we go out into the auditorium, we'll be able to see that I can reach much farther if I put a different lens on my Mevo Core. So I can bring in this 45-175. Now, that's going to give me a much farther reach than what the 1442 gives me, but it's going to have a starting point that is largely unusable in a room this size. You're going to have to set it up much farther away if we're going to use a lens that is as far-reaching as this one. Now, in order to get the highest quality image into this video, and this will be a 4K video that we upload to YouTube so that you can see the image quality as best as I can show it to you, I have run this into my Mailbox Ultra because it records in 4K. It will also stream in 4K, by the way. So in the software for the Mailbox Ultra, we have the option of putting these two cameras side by side. So now you can see that I have the NearStream VM46 on the left side of the screen, and I have the Mevo Core on the right side of the screen, and you can, with your own eyes, begin to look at the difference in video quality side by side. Now, I did do my best to match the two. So I went into image adjustments. I set them on my favorite setting. That's vivid for the Core, any of my Mevo cameras, and that is linear for the VM46, which was my favorite on the VM33. Because I have backlighting in this shot, pretty bright backlighting, that didn't cut it for either of these. So I had to begin to tweak the contrast or the saturation to bring the colors back to where I wanted it to be. And this is the final result. This is what I get after choosing a different preset and then adjusting my contrast or my saturation just a little bit to make sure that I had skin tones that were pleasing, to make sure that I had this shirt as close to its original color as possible, and that the color of the wall, it's a gray wall, I get it. There's tones in the wall, and for now, let's head out to the auditorium and let's look at how these two cameras punch in from a distance. Okay, with this side-by-side shot of the NearStream VM46 and the Mevo Core, this time with a 45 to 175 lens on it, we can reach much farther than we could with the 1442. And just so you know, although these are very similar in their framing, I'm not using all of the Mevo Core's lens. I am using the 10 times optical zoom on the VM46. I have a lot of digital zoom left to give if I need it, but I'm not quite using all. Let's don't get hung up too much on comparing how far they'll zoom, because you can put any lens that fits the Mevo Core to change that. Let's compare image quality at this distance. So at the fullness of the optical zoom for the VM46 and at the same distance, the same zoom in for the Mevo Core, this is the difference in what the image looks like. And again, how they reproduce color, looking at this, the black in this pulpit, the flowers in front, the guitars in back, the wall, the cross in the back with the stone, all of those, and how they reproduce the shot is the important piece of comparing these two. There's also how well does each of their wireless chip in it give us this kind of distance, and that seems to be fairly equal at this distance. If you're using it outside and you're needing to stretch that some, I can go ahead and tell you that I've set both of these cameras up at 200 feet and gotten a good picture from both of them. I don't see any real difference in their ability to reach far as their wireless capability goes. Heat dissipation, that is an unknown. It's not hot enough where I live yet to really test that, so I do have a heat shield for either one of them. If you need a heat shield for where you stream, then by all means, I can print you one and sell it to you. But those are the kind of things that need to go into a decision about which one of these is going to serve you better in the streams that you do. Indoor, like where we are, this is a good shot. I can zoom out from here and get the entirety of this platform. I can zoom in a little bit from here. I can crop in with the VM46, zoom in a little bit with the Mevo Core, but I don't want to, because anybody who stands behind a pulpit is going to want the freedom to walk at least a little bit from side to side as they deliver their message. And so this is really the sweet spot. It's kind of the same shot that we stream with on a given Sunday morning. And so this reaches plenty far on 75, 80 foot length of sanctuary. If you're farther than that, then maybe you need to look at how this VM46 crops in. But I'll take that, oh, excuse me, that was 9, here's 10. I was a little bit off there. So I'll take that 10 to a 15. And that's going to punch in so that I need to actually adjust my camera because I've cut the top of my head off. But that would just give me that, waist up shot that's about as close as you want to punch into anybody who's delivering a message. And it's still, as you can see from this video shot, it's still a really good picture because I'm well lit. because it's a good quality sensor, because we've punched in so far with the optical before we ever hit the digital. So that is, to me, a very useful shot for a church or for a baseball streamer that's needing to get a little bit farther in than what your eMeet StreamCam 1 or your Mevo Start is going to allow you to do. For those of you who are curious, we're at 140 of the 175. We'll go ahead and push to the full 175 on this lens for the Mevo Core. I will show you that it just does get to the top of my head. So there's not a whole lot of difference in where we were at 140 to 175. Then we do, of course, have the ability to crop in past that. And the freedom you get from the Mevo software is that you can crop in any portion of the screen. You don't just have to crop into the center like you do in the NearCam software, NearStream software. I'd encourage you to keep in mind both of these cameras have NDI built in, so if you want to run them through Top Director or into your computer stream with OBS, or NDI is a choice for both of these to do all of this wirelessly. You're not going to get 4K in NDI, and the goal here is to show the 4K image, but starting with a really good sensor and a good optical zoom, NDI is a great choice, and both of these cameras do offer NDI straight out of the box.